Well, welcome back to Partickhill Station. There was a major disruption of the internet across North America, and I presume that's why I was having initial problems and then it shut down. My daughter, who lives in California, my wife was speaking with her and it went down as well, so she was only able to get back in using her data, but everything was shut down. Not sure what the reason was, but trials and tribulations of using the internet. Anyway, I hope you can hear me. That's the first thing, and then we'll go from there. There's somebody on. I guess everybody just got fed up and went to bed. What are you going to do if the internet goes down? You can always run trains, right? Anyway, I'm going to have a go at Digger. How are you? Yeah, I don't know what was happening over in the UK, but across North America, Digger, the internet went down. Colin, hi, how are you? Good of you to drop by. Just let me know that you can hear me okay. So I had issues with the cameras and the audio, and then boom, everything caved in. So I was talking about weathering and how we were going to approach the weathering. Oh, that's good news. Thanks, Digger. Appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to have to turn my back on the chat line for a couple of minutes as I explain what's going on with the weathering. Give me a second here. Okay, so there's a number of ways to do weathering, and there's lots of you guys know much more than me, but this is the way I do it, and I learned this from sketching cars and different things that you can find on Instagram. And if you look for me on Instagram, it's Charlie McGowan 1104, and you'll see stuff that I've done in there. And one of the techniques I used, which was a learned technique, was to use pastel powders instead of buying some expensive bottles of weathering powder. Being Scottish, that's the way to go. Always look for a deal. So here are my pastels, a nice box of them. So you need that, you need cotton pads, and you need baby powder. And then after you're finished, you would fix it with a fixative. So I'm going to see how I can make out here, and hopefully nothing will go wrong. So I'll set these aside for a second, and I need a piece of paper and a utility knife. And then you scrape the soft pastel like that. Being careful always to go away from yourself. I learned that at school. Yeah, so you don't cut your finger off. And you don't need to put a lot out, but just enough for a start, and that's what we'll do. And then what you need to do is take your baby powder, talcum powder. I don't think they make talcum powder now, but you'll always be able to get baby powder. And the function of the baby powder is to make the pastel powder go on smoothly, so you don't get that rough effect. So all you have to do is fold this up and just bring this round here like that, and just pick up some of the black powder, and then grab some baby powder, and then go into your retaining wall. In my case, what we're going to do is we're just going to lightly go over this, and you can actually get it as sooty as you want. I hope you can see that. And you know, if you want it darker, then what you do is you spray it with a fixative, let it dry for a couple of minutes, and then go over it again. And you can continue that until you get the desired amount of dirt or soot or whatever it is that you want to put on here. And you know, before you know it, see, there's the original piece, and there's the sooty piece, which is much more lifelike. And as I say, all you got to do at that point is spray it with a fixative, let it dry, and then go back over it again. And try and keep your fingers and thumbs out the way. And you know, just add in as much or as little as you want to get the desired effect. And as you see, it really pulls it out. And that's peanuts to get that effect on your to weather everything on your layout. Now, if you've got kids, they might have some of this. If not, go to a local art store and buy a box, or if you can get them individually, that would be better, because you might only use you might only use the black or even grey, but you can try it on all kinds of things. If you want to weather your coaches, wagons, your locos, that will work, and it's very easy. But the secret is if I get that one line here, I use Baby Life, baby powder, and that's what really sets it apart, is it goes on really smooth that way. So as I said, you can have a look at my artwork on Instagram, and you'll see some of the effects I had with some of the cars that I sketched out. And I don't know what it costs, like the baby powder, a couple of dollars, and I haven't looked at what the cost of the pastel soft pastel, right? And as I say, you just scrape it, and another problem, just hang on a second here. Just had all the power sucked out of my laptop. Anyway, yeah, so as I say, a cheap method of doing it. Maybe I'll do one more. So here is, you're all familiar and probably have one of these. So we'll just take the same approach. We'll take a soft cotton pad. You get them in the women's section, makeup, whatever, and just rub it in, and then gently just gently rub it over there, and as I say, put as much or as little on as you want to get the desired effect. And there we go. Let me get this into the solo. So as you can see, with a little bit of powder, it goes a long way. You don't need to worry about the baby powder, because when you fix it with a fixative, that will take care of everything. Anyway, that looks so much better and so much more lifelike. So that was entertaining. I don't know what equipment you guys use. but you know, I've got iPhones here for filming, but I seem to have some issues with them and my Logitech Brio camera, and I'm going to have to reassess it, because I don't need these failures taking place. You know, here's a little wall made out of foam core covered in brick paper, and I'm just going to do this one more time. So I'll switch over again to this view, and I'll scrape off some more powder here, and you can use, you know, black, grey, brown. Just for effect, I am using the black, and then you can take your brick wall, make sure you get the talcum powder on it, just makes it run smoother. And then, you know, when you look at it, so starting off there, see it's discoloured, and then there you go. Look at the difference in that. Now, what would you rather have on your layout? You decide. It's a simple project, easy to do, and no problem. Yeah, Digger. Yeah, as I say, there's no right way, no wrong way. It's just everybody's got their own technique, their own style. I just find that in doing this, I've got a little bit more control. You know, I use the cotton pad, and you know, I've done with one area, I fold it over and apply a different colour. So maybe that is a little bit of an advantage. Yeah, give it a shot and let me know. I mean, do a little video of it and show us what you come up with, because hey, it's all about sharing. And as I say, I'm not the expert. It just so happens that I know how to do this. Yeah, so that's a cheap little tip. And I hope you found that interesting. Alright, so let's see what's next on my list. Okay, so I'm going to go full screen with this one, right? Alright, so for this one, I'll just set it up that way. This is the tip of the day. Now, you may or may not have seen this before, and I've been meaning to do this for a while, just never got around to it. You know, if you look at, let me just get this on here. Alright, so if you didn't see this, I did a little bit of scenery here at the side of the shuttle track, just as a test, because I wasn't really sure whether I should proceed with ballasting everything or not. I'm just not sure at this point. But I went ahead and did this, but I'll need some kind of barrier between the scenery and the track. Anyway, so as I said, I've been planning to do this, just never got around to it. Yeah, and for pennies, Tom, you can do this. You can do your whole layout for pennies, and quick and easy, not a problem. And then you can do all of your wagons. In fact, why don't we do that? All right, so this is one of these Lima fish vans. It's nice and clean. It's painted white. Well, Barnabas Junction. Oh, I am so honoured that you actually decided to drop by. Thanks very much, Jason. Anyway, we're just talking about weathering, and you're an expert at weathering, so you should maybe watch this later and then comment on it. But you know, I'm using soft pastels. I'll just go over this again. Doesn't take long. You know, this type of thing, and I use that for my art stuff. Anyway, so we went through the process of weathering the retaining walls. Now, I just did that. And then I weathered this little retaining wall. Now, I mean, look at it. It's not perfect at this point, but it was just a first go. Now look at the brick. What would you rather have? For pennies, it's a no-brainer. So, all right. So we'll just have a go at this, and I'll put this one up like this. And then I'll pick up some of the black powder and get some of the talcum powder, and then take the van and maybe you can't see that perfect. Now look at that. So there's the clean side. So we'll try and do it this way. How about that? Quick and easy. Right, so let's see if we can pull one off here. Just hang on a second. Okay, so there's the before and there's the after. I hope you can see that with this lighting. Anyway, so That's just another little trick. Yeah, it does, and it's really simple, Jason. Yeah, and it will wash off easily. And the thing is, you can make it permanent using a fixative. Once you put that initial treatment on, you fix it with a spray, let it dry, and if you want to make it heavier, you put more in. You apply the powder again and then fix it. And you can do this as often as you want to gradually get it from brand new to very worn. But that's your decision. You know, you make the choice. And, you know, as I said, very quickly, you can turn all the retaining walls that you've got into soot covered ones very quickly. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. A matte finish, so I use a fixative, which is a matte. But yeah, you know, you can use the same thing as long as it's a spray. So yeah, anyway, so now we're talking about getting some separation. Oh, hang on here. You know, getting some separation from my attempts at scenery and the shuttle. So I thought, well, maybe I'll come up with something else, and dug into my records and getting back into here. So layout. And so I thought, well, I've got a mixture here of modern image type stuff and steam. There was a point where they used the wire mesh fences. I can't remember the technical term it's used for it today. But if you get this Bondo patch, that can make quite an attractive fence. So in this little package, I found that you get 2 sheets. Right, so there's 2 sheets there, and you know, that could cut a number of sections of fence. And yeah, I think I'm going to give this a try. I will, for the next one, I'll cut this up into 8 feet sections, and you know, maybe get 3 out of this, and then I'll get some posts in and see how it looks. Oh, St Mary's Church, welcome to Partickhill Station. For anybody, and I'm sure you've all seen it, what a fabulous layout Stuart's got there. I've spent a wee bit of time checking it out, and it's really very, very good. So many things that I could think of maybe I can use, and yeah, we'll see what develops from that. But you know, I'm not really sure if you think this might be a little bit on the large side, but we'll check it out and see. Failing that, if we go back to my corrugated iron fence, you remember that. Now, as it happens, I found a guy in Melbourne. Hey, Tony Northeastern. And there's Wardell Road. Welcome to Partickhill Station. This is terrific. Anyway, so this is the corrugated iron sheets that I spoke about. For those of you who didn't get the story, this is how it came about. I follow a guy from Melbourne on the internet, Dave's Model World, I think it's called, and he builds these fabulous buildings at 1:24, 1:48 scale. And he did a little bit with these corrugated sheets, and he had this little tool that he created these with. Now, the tin foil is the tin foil is from those pans that you put a turkey or a chicken in, that type of stuff, the heavy duty ones, and then cut it up into strips. And then he took this little tool, and it's like a male and female part. So you put there's a piece of tin foil, right? It's heavier than the usual stuff, and you put it into on top of this little plastic thing. I don't have it here right now. And then there's a male tool, and you press that down over the top of the tin foil, and it comes out like that. And I thought, hey, that's great, like terrific. I can do so many things with that. And as you know, one of the things I did do was the Anderson shelter. I just cut bits up to shape. I got the dimensions from the internet and glued it all together. And I had to use crazy glue because I couldn't find anything else that works. But like fantastic. And there was something else around here that I made from it. But the thing is that, as I later found out, those are 1:87. How do you bend a corrugated? Well, it's no problem. Like the tin foil, you can do that, right? And the corrugations are in the same direction, so you just curve it around until you get the shape you want, fix it in place. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, you can see how I've curved it. I use one piece or two pieces to go all the way around, and yeah, it worked. So it's not an issue. But the thing is, I found after the fact that it was 1:87, so a slightly different scale. And thanks, Tom. So after a couple of uses, it broke. Like I mean, if I had designed that, I would have made it out of steel as opposed to plastic. And this plastic is very brittle, and as a consequence, you know, I was running this across and it slipped off the end and snapped. So I was pretty disappointed in that. So eventually I got in touch with the guys down in Melbourne, and it's at a store called Brunel Industries. I think it's Brunel Industries. Brunel Models, sorry. And this is one of the products they sell. And I explained what had happened, and they said, well, you know, we'll send you a replacement if you pay for the postage, because postage from Australia is quite expensive. I think it costs more for the postage than it did for the part. It's like me trying to get parts from the UK, and you know, I end up paying a lot of money for postage. Anyway, you know, time went on and we were chatting back and forth, and it ended up, the guy got back to me and he said, oh Charlie, we now have a 1:76 scale tool. I was like, wow, perfect. Yeah, how can I get one? And they said, well, you know, we'll send you one if you pay for postage. I said, tell me how to do it. I'm your man. Get it up here quick, and you know, I'll show everybody else how the little tool works. And so there you go. You can look forward to seeing different things. And you know, the tinfoil thing, you know, I took a piece of plastic card and I covered it with a tin foil. Yeah, it's a nice little load. Can do a few of those, and then where is that other piece? I moved too many things around here. So yeah, blow this one up. So there is my steel coil. Now, in retrospect, I maybe should not have made it as long, and I should have spent more time rolling more tinfoil. And you know, all I did was I cut the length of this heavy tinfoil, and then I began to, I think I used a pen or a pencil for the internal diameter, and then I just began to roll it up, and I applied some crazy glue as I went along, and you know, there's your steel coil. And for anybody who hasn't seen the channel before, don't throw away any of your old printers that don't work, because that is a roller from one of your printers, and it makes for a very nice load. And they come in sort of all shapes and sizes, right? There you go. And you know, put a little bit of paint on them, bit of scraping, and you know, you got another unique load there. And you know, here's a couple of 3D printed bins. Now these were done on a resin printer, different from the filament printer. I maybe need to try and do one myself, but yeah, I weathered this one up. Using some paints that I have, turned out quite good, so happy with that also. And then I'll show you alright. So there's my 3D printed buffer stop. And there's a painted one. I painted these on my printer, which is a Monoprice Select. I hope you can see that. Turn it around. Yeah, almost different. Now, you can see the grooves or the slots in the bottom there. And that's to fix over the track. There it just sort of snaps in place. So talking about 3D printing, and we'll get back on here. Well, Tom, the whole thing with the 3D printing, each printer has limitations, and you know, the results of the resin printer is that you can take, if you have the model for a figure, you can do it on there. The filament printer that I've got might not be as effective, but you know, there's lots that can be done. So when I was admiring Tony Northeastern's layout, as I do on a regular basis, spying on him, looking for tips and techniques that I can add to my own layout, and that's what it's all about. I asked Tony if he could give me the dimensions of a couple of the relay boxes that he had on his layout. Now, I did some printing of relay boxes, and this one here was done for me by the local library. Now I got a whole bunch of them. I think I get 12 of them for about $5 or something like that. Now that is done using a filament type printer, similar to the one I've got. So that was that, and it turned out fine. There were a couple of issues with the process that resulted in me having to do a bit of filing, because I mentioned before, you can see the difference on the back there. Still got to file that off. That was printed in that position, so I don't know whether it was you, Tom, or somebody had asked me, well, why does it have that such a big base? Okay, so I'll get to that in a second. And this is my attempt at printing and weathering the relay box. Turned out pretty good, even if I say so myself. So I thought, well, I've got to get other sizes. Now, these I modelled, 3D modelled them using a Tinkercad software, and created a model. And if you look at some of my other videos on this process, you will see how I went from the 3D model into the 3D print. So Tony sent me some dimensions of the other relay boxes, and so here is what I came up with. Now you can see the hinges. Let's get this right. You can see the hinges and the door handle. So that turned out okay. And then I thought, okay, glad that worked. So I'll try multiple copies. So the nice thing about 3D printing is once you got the model made and you get it into the file where it will slice it, I thought I'll become a manufacturer. And so here's a bunch that I printed the other day. Now I think that's the first dimensions, like 22 millimeters by 7 by 6, Tony. So this is what it gave me. So to answer your question, and I think it was Tom that asked, why do you have such a big base? Well, this base, as you see and refer to, is what you call a raft, and that is a layer of plastic that's laid down by the machine in order to get a flat and soft surface in which to start printing. And then it does it, I think there was 137 layers of 0.1 millimeter layers of plastic on each of these. And if you were able to look extremely closely on it, you might just see the lines there. And it printed them all, and it was 3 hours and 27 minutes. So I watched the movie, or in fact, I didn't watch the movie. I started it late at night, checked it sort of part of the way through, and left it running. Got up in the morning, came down to the basement, and there it was. So you can see here, there's your raft. It's off. And here are all the relay boxes. Now I've still to paint them all the way, but yeah, you see that surface hasn't been painted yet, but you can still see the hinges and the door handle. Yeah, there you can see the layers, but you know, you're not going to be close enough to see that. I mean, you'll see the door handles, you know, once they get a little bit extra weathering on it, you'll see it, and that's that's what counts. So there's the finished one. Now, I'll just put that down there, and I'll put this one alongside it. There. A single door and a double door. So the adventures in 3D printing continue. I've got some Jumbo Lane stuff that I bought from them that I haven't got around to printing yet, but in terms of how small can you go, look at that. Now Jeff has a resin printer, and he gets these great results like that. See, so I'll get them painted up, and he printed suitcases for me and some other stuff. Now, here's some oil drums, which I had this other friend over here with a resin printer do them for me, and then I painted them because, well, you would know there are 3 or 4 different types of oil drums that carry different types of petroleum products, and one of them is that combination of colour, and then the other is one other is the all black, and then there is another distinct colour arrangement. So yeah, anyway, yeah, Tony, thanks for dropping by. We'll catch you next time. Bye for now. So it's too bad because I was just going to get to Tony for something else. So yeah, so if you've been into Tony's page, you will see his bridge. So what I might be doing with the replica, it's not a replica, it's my concept of the bridge. It's not finished yet. I've got to put another vertical strut in and a couple of tension components in either end there. But I thought I could make that a road bridge like what Tony's got, on his layout, and you know, come up with something, you know, maybe with a tenement building or something in the background, or that might be in the foreground, but that's where I'm headed with that. Yeah, so what else? Well, I started reshaping these pieces of foam, and then I'll cut them a bit more and paint them a kind of greyish colour, resembling rock formations as you might find in Scotland. So the other thing is, you've seen, or you may have seen, the process that I've gone through in getting the commuter shuttle in order, and that's a process that I'm trying to get completed. Now, I was able to pick up some of the diodes, and these are 20 volt, might be overkill, but I think it should be okay, and I'll put one of them here, just see if I can get this to come round. Reverse it. Okay, so this is at the end of the line for the Strathclyde public transport, where they can get into Partickhill Station and then go elsewhere. And then it will head all the way around again. Past all these obstacles and find its way into this other little terminal station. I'm kind of out of space at the moment because I just don't have enough room at this location, and I have to rewire it so that I get free access to get that going. So that's another little addition that's going in. And I guess you saw my attempts at making the Clyde puffer. I'll give you a solo view of this. So that's where I am at the moment with the Clyde puffer. And then I found Monty's models, and I ordered a couple of figures, a captain and a seaman, and I'll get these on here as I start the process of adding more detail into the Clyde puffer. So that kind of brings you up to speed with what's happening here. You know, I try to get something different each week, and you know, it's nice. It's nice to see more people come in to the chat, and you may have seen or heard me go on a bit about some of the stuff that I've got here, but it's just interesting. Oh, okay, I need to show you this. Alright, so we'll give you the... So there is the loads with the chain on it, and I had to use a combination of the super glue and baking soda to get those chains to stay on. This one broke off, but it'll be easily repaired. So as you can see, you know, it turned out really good. And don't throw out your printers, because there's all kinds of stuff in there that you can use for loads. So what I'm going to be doing with the 3D printing is Tony sent me 3 sets of dimensions, and I'll model and print the other 2 and get them done. And you know, I'm looking around for other projects that I can model and print. One thing that I'm interested in is the physical dimensions for a petrol pump of the sort of 60s style. Now, I got these as part of a TMD station, and they look pretty good. Now, I could model them no problem, but I'd like to get the ones with the elliptical top on it, let's say Esso or BP, Shell, whatever. And so if anybody has got dimensions or sketches that show the dimensions, build another single door desert island. There's only one door in but no door out. Tom, is that what you're getting at? Or maybe I'm missing something. Help me out with that one. Yeah, so as I say, I'm just looking for other things to model. I got this little tank as part of a broken set of something. It's like a pressure tank. I can probably build that. A single door cabinet. Well, you know, that is a single door cabinet, but maybe Tony's given me dimensions for single door cabinets of a larger size. I'm not really sure. Yeah, oh yeah, I was going to show you. So that there, on the question of how do you bend or roll the corrugated steel, this here is a corrugated steel lampshade. And you can see I really patched it up. The builder wasn't that great in terms of his construction practices. And you know, I used card to get the basic shape of the building, the base and the walls, and then I just formed the roof to suit. But you know, once again, it's quite effective and original, and you know, I made it. That's the thing. I didn't buy it, I made it. So yeah, as I said, I'm just looking for ideas and what you do next. It's getting kind of busy because I put in some of these extra little platforms just to fill in some gaps. Of course, this is the tunnel exit and entrance for the station. I 3D printed my sign, Partickhill. These trees are courtesy of Rob Johnson, and he also sent me that little flower box with the flowers in it. And then I went to the local art store, and because they have dollhouse stuff there, I found these flowers. So I bought them, cut them up, and put them into an extra couple of flower boxes that Rob was kind enough to send. You know, that tunnel portal was made by Rob Johnson also. I'm going to see if I can somehow get it fitted in here at some point. So that's something else that's on my list. Yeah. Anyway, I've just so there's Fred. Yeah, so hi Fred, nice of you to drop by. You missed all the excitement. You missed all the excitement because the internet went down around here, and I started at 1 o'clock, and I thought, well, I'll be on for an hour and a half, and I began to have problems with the cameras. Might not have been related, but next thing you know, boom, everything went down. No internet. And I couldn't get back in. So I was only on for half an hour or so, or less, and I couldn't get back in. And then my wife was talking with our daughter Kristen, who lives in Los Angeles, and she's the famous one in the family. She's got over 1 million followers on YouTube. Anyway, so she's talking with my wife upstairs, and I said, well, how are you on the internet? And she said, oh Daddy, my internet's down too. So it was right across North America, but they were speaking on FaceTime using data. Anyway, so that was the excitement, and it put me a little bit off kilter. What was I going to do? How could I get back in? And eventually I was able to, and it was just a case of trying to pick up where I left off. some people who dropped off because they're busy doing other things, and try and do another quick intro and then get on track with what I was going to show and speak about. Now, one thing I'm going to look at is what do I do about my cameras. So one of them works, the main one, which is good, but I like to have a couple on the go. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, they dropped off, and just trying to see if I can get another one operating. Because sometimes these cameras, they just don't go very well with StreamYard, and some people say, well, it's Wi-Fi, but it's not the Wi-Fi. There's something else happening here, and it'd be too messy to get them hardwired into the laptop. And I guess that one's just run out of power. It's an older, I think that's an iPhone 8 or an 8S, and then I've got a little iPhone 4, and you know, I had them all set up working, and even if I show this one, even this Logitech Brio, like, I just don't get it. It's plugged in, and you know, I've plugged it out a number of times and then plugged it back in, as is often recommended, and because with this Apple laptop you can't plug directly into the you can't plug directly from the camera into the laptop, because it's a new slim lightweight iPad, and you have to buy an additional sort of jack so that it's get access to enable you to make contact with the laptop. So, you know, there you go. I plugged that in, and you know, I'm trying to get to the Logitech Brio, and you know, nothing comes up. So it might come up eventually, but I don't particularly want to go down that route, so I'll go back here and I'll switch back onto the FaceTime camera on the iPad. Yeah, it would probably be much better if I had everything hardwired in, but you know, I don't think that's actually going to happen. Anyway, so I'm not going to talk unless anybody's got any questions or like to say something, or maybe next time if any of you want to get on the show, like, just tell me and I'll arrange for it and I'll get you on. That would kind of spice it up a little bit. So I'm going to make an effort to try and do this every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I'm not really sure if that suits everybody, or if I should say 1:30, which means it's 6:30. You've probably had your tea. I don't know. Yeah, remember, it's 1 p.m. here in the Toronto area. So yeah, let me know if there's anything you'd like to see. If there's locos like the APTs or the channel train, or different other stuff that I've got under the APTs, 126 or 125, sorry. Like, let me know and I'll make preparations and I'll get it out. I just thought I'd try doing a couple of diesels here today, in between talking about what I've been up to. So I've been on 1 hour and 16 minutes, so I think it's time to sign off, and thank everybody for joining me here in Partickhill Station. Give me the big thumbs up. You know the story, everybody else says it. You're probably tired of hearing it, but just one of these things. And the interest in Chadwick Model Railways, Charlie said one time, oh, you know, I've got 126 people online, but only 14 has liked or subscribed. You know, like, it's a great mystery. Anyway, Fred, thanks very much. Goodbye. Tony and Tom, good of you to drop by. Paul Vosman, always great to hear a joke. Tony Northeastern's gone. Stuart at St Mary's Church, yeah, great of you to drop by. And Jason at Barnabas Junction. You know, maybe I'll get round to giving out some kind of a prize. It means I'll have to ship it overseas, but hey, anything's possible. Anyway, I won't take up any more of your time. Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now. Oh, Matty Matman, sorry. Thanks very much. Sorry, before I shut it down, I just saw that one come up. Really appreciate that. I'm going to go in after this and check out your channel and see what you're doing. Anyway, take care everybody. Have a good evening, and we'll catch you next time here at Partickhill Station.